Here we are with Fellowship, The Deeps, Season 1, the intro, like the intro to the entire show, not just Season 1. This is the intro episode.
Good job.
We're in October 2019, but the next couple episodes won't be because we record the intro at the end. You all know this if you listen to our show.
Yep.
Yeah. So basically the concept of The Deeps is that you're all playing heroes in the Fellowship, and there is a great evil who is hidden at the bottom of the ocean that is trying to break free and is using mind control to puppet people on the surface to serve its nefarious ends, and you need to stop it from destroying the pillars that are holding it chained beneath the ocean.
Okay. Should we introduce ourselves as well?
Yeah. So let's all introduce our characters. I guess I will start. The character I play is the Overlord, who is Grand Architect Zane, who is the Chief Architect of the Builders, who are the race of people who more or less run the kind of archipelago of islands and societies, because they build and maintain all of the great technology. And he is under control of the dragon, who is the beast that is slumbering beneath the ocean, and he is working to oppose the Fellowship. He is also was once a close friend of Marilla, who is a player character who will be introduced shortly. So they have a connection there.
Okay then, I guess I'll go next. I'm playing Architect Juno Alderon, the Air Playbook. So he's, of the architects, the wall builders, the architect, yeah. The whole shtick of the architects is that, I guess how to introduce it. Back in, back in the olden days, the dragons used to be the source of power. They had some descendants of them that were the architects. They were like dragon-blooded or what have you. So they shared some of their, magic capabilities, their intellect, and what have you. So they were like exceptionally good at engineering and so on. Eventually, the dragons in the world mostly died off, and the builder decided to wall off the remaining magic in the world, the remaining dragon, to keep it preserved, because they figured that would be a way to, preserve the magic, make it, still reside, and that's where we'll be playing. So the heirs, the architects, are tasked with maintaining this whole architecture, upkeeping the ancient ruins or whatever with ancient technology, and keep things going. And Juno Alderon is one of them. He's a plucky young guy, and he doesn't believe in Architect Zane's plan of let's tear it all down and, unleash the dragon for the good of everybody, I suppose, or what have you.
Also, we didn't know about the dragon at first.
Well, we knew that the Architect Zane was up to destroying all the pillars and bringing down the walls that are keeping everybody safe.
Yeah, he's like, it's totally fine if we break down the walls. Who cares, guys? That's where we started.
Yeah, he was saying that the walls were more of a prison than anything else, and that if we tore down the walls, we would be totally fine, and we could explore and go out into the world.
Yeah. So Juno opposed that, because, Zane was making this decision without concerning any other races. So, how about not so fast? How about we talk about this with everybody else?
Because according to all of history, if the wall goes down, all magic goes away. And certain races need that to live.
Yeah, it wasn't keeping us safe, so maybe not. So, I guess he sort of assembled this crew together on his little ship called the Zephyr, which is a small, agile ship that looks a little bit like Pirates of the Deep Water, was it? Or the Black Water? One of those things. An old show. And yeah, so, onward.
So, I played Prover Iceclaw, the Dwarf Handbook. modeling them as the Brock folk. And they're basically big badgers that are Scottish. And their particular ecological and economic niche in this world is a good chunk of them work for the builders. They are the wall defenders. A lot of them live on the outskirts of the wall, which is a big thing of ice, and a bunch of them live on these islands. They feel profoundly in debt to the wall builders because they lived on a very tiny, very crappy, very dangerous island, and that they didn't really have a way of getting off. There's not much good wood. They don't really have any navigation knowledge. The builders got them off the island, and therefore they do the thing. One unique thing about the dwarves is that they are very good with explosives. They come from an island that is chock full of charcoal and peat and sulfur, and they're quite good at that, and so is Poover. Poover himself was on ships for many years. Over time, he saw basically all of his kind of friends and the other members generally died in misadventure. One day, his entire ship went down, and the only reason he survived was because Marilla's people saved him. And he sort of went into semi-retirement onto the running a distillery. And then the whole plot with Juno and Zane started, and he could see the writing on the wall, and most of the Brock folk live on the wall, so that coming down would be bad. So he kind of joined up with him as sort of the last hurrah.
We're on to me.
You think so?
Alright, it's me, Devin, and I am playing the Orc Playbook. Specifically, I'm playing Goblin King. A Goblin King of Goblins. There's a bit to unpack here. I'll try to make this concise. So, goblins are basically every culture and clade and origin of people that didn't quite fit into the standard sort of fantasy culture mold. So like anyone who builds cities, civilizations, has history, or like does like culture, that's like the stock people. Goblins are everything that didn't do that and kind of got pushed out and out-competed and pushed to the periphery of society and are basically treated as pests and not people. And they're pretty diverse and pretty wild, and they have a bunch of different forms and shapes and cultures and languages and stuff, but they all, often enough, will give birth to a Goblin King, which is just one of their kind that's supernaturally intelligent and possessed of, like, thinking and intellect and planning for the future and stuff, that has purpose, and that was this Goblin King. Goblin King understands that if goblins keep getting pushed to the edge and hunted and wiped out and genocided by what he calls the wall builders, which is all the other societies, that they'll eventually adapt in a way that makes them cruel and warlike. So he is outright working with architect Juno to stop that from occurring. And he thinks the best way is by working with him, because then he can get payouts from the King of the Architects and put some plans into motion. Goblins have the orc trait Daughters of Chaos, which means they're actually really hard to control. You actually can't mind control them. It's amazing. And yeah. Anything else I should cover, guys?
No. What are you getting out of this?
Juno, when he becomes Boy King, is going to give the goblins like living land rights to like huge cultural parts of all the other peoples. So like if the elves have a sacred burial ground, goblins live there now. If the dwarfs have a sacred distillery, goblins by divine right get to live there now. The architects have like a sacred bathhouse, goblins get to live there now. And the reason for that is that goblins as a whole don't build statues and don't record history. They're not statue makers. They don't build walls to keep each other out. They just kind of live and die. So they'll never remember what Goblin King did or what the goblin's heritage is. But other cultures will, like the elves, dwarves, and whatever. So if goblins by divine right get to live in their sacred places, people will treat them with respect, and they'll remember, oh yeah, the goblins were granted this by the Boy King architect because they helped save the world. And that'll like enshrine them into history and then let them be treated as like equals and stuff. Or at least not hunted. What's the train of thought there?
Marilla.
Nicole playing Marilla, who is the Rain playbook. She's a person made of water.
A goo girl.
Yes, she is a goo girl. It's kind of like dark, murky water. Yeah. She controls rain and can make parts of her body be acidic. Her people are generally like that as well. They can't actually live underwater, but they can hold their breaths for unreasonable amounts of time and live in underground caves and such. My people are a magical people, so when we heard about the whole, someone wants to take down the entire wall thing, we were not on board with that because we didn't want to all die. My people kind of sent me out because I was the most... They're kind of insular, but I was the most not. So I went out and was like, hey guys, let's stop this.
You go, girl. And you have some relationship with the Overlord?
Oh, yeah.
These are the most important things.
Her and the Overlord, Zane, used to be friends of some sort.
They have a prior history.
Yeah. So, he was all of a sudden being nuts and doing crazy shit. She was determined to figure out why, and basically thinking, oh, he must have a good reason for this. He can't just be evil for no reason out of nowhere. So that colors how she interacts with him. Don't know what else to say.
I do want to sideways mention that while I'm playing Goblin King, listeners, I talk in this voice the entire time!
The entire time.
So get ready for 15 episodes of that, you piece of shit.
And on top of that, we're using the ship playbook. So
Yes.
we have a ship of our own. Whoa.
Woohoo!
It is the Zephyr.
Yep.
It served us pretty well.
Yeah. It was a good test of the playbook and what have you, but we'll get in that in the outro and what have you.
Yeah, we'll do the breakdowns. But is there anything else? Do you want to talk about the Dragon's personality a bit? And being all pissed off and shit?
No, I guess just that, the dragon is not inherently an evil thing, so much as it was imprisoned and tortured for millennia, and that kind of sours anyone's disposition on the rest of
Because,
the world.
I guess, to go more broadly, magic in this world is tied to the dragons.
Yeah.
The dragon is a source of magic.
I know you said more broadly, but it sounded like you said more broadly.
More broadly speaking.
The ultimate Super Saiyan.
Dragon power maximal.
But it's also part of a cycle, and that when the last dragon dies, the dragons and magic are also reborn into the world.
Yeah.
So by preserving and imprisoning the last dragon, the builders have actually been kind of hamstringing themselves.
Yeah. But our character didn't find out about that until later.
Yeah.
Womp womp.
Yeah. In character, we didn't know a lot of this.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's the intro.
Okay.
Alright, yeah, that covers everything. We can talk about Fellowship a bit. Fellowship is fun. You should buy it and play it. The second edition is out. And right now, Inverse Fellowship is out. So, fucking get that.
Try the Horizon.
Yeah.
It looks cool.
Yeah. Try all the playbooks. Try the ship. Try the rain.
The rain is really powerful.
The rain
just
is
to let you
really-
know.
The rain is crazy
Maybe we should
powerful.
get
Yeah.
Well, the
We'll talk about
Guardian.
that in the outro.
The Guardian is crazy powerful. The Orc is insane.
Yup.
Yeah, let's go to the outro.
Let's go to the outro. Alright, we'll see you fucking people in 15 weeks. We're gonna go talk in the outro, alright? For us, it's gonna be like 2 goddamn seconds, so, see you then. Come on, Tyler.
I was Tyler.
There.
Peter.
Mark.
Devin.
And Nicole.
And this is sponsored by Nobody. Signing off. Well, that was only like 15 minutes.